long before maps dared to name the Gobi Desert, and centuries before the first caravans carved their permanent scars across Asia, there were whispers. Whispers of a city that simply refused to accept extinction. A city that understood a truth our modern civilizations are only just beginning to remember. Land is not something you own. It's something you listen to. Ancient Chinese border records from the late Han period mention a place called Heshui. It was a settlement perched right at the edge of what was once a fertile basin. The records describe a city built not with extravagance, no towering palaces, no excessive golden ornaments, but with an almost unsettling precision. Its streets weren't aligned to the cardinal directions of north, south, east, and west, but to the prevailing winds. Its homes were partially buried, using the earth itself as insulation against the brutal heat and the biting cold. Water channels weren't diverted from surface rivers. They were carved deep beneath the stone, following the invisible flows of groundwater. Travelers who passed through wrote of a strange, profound calm. There were no shouting markets, no temple bells ringing through the air. The whole city seemed to exist in a permanent state of listening, as if waiting for a signal. And then the signal came. The climate shifted. Over generations, the lush basin slowly, relentlessly dried up. The seasonal rivers that had nourished it became nothing more than a memory. The desert crept forward, one grain of sand at a time. All around Heshui, neighboring cities collapsed into chaos. They suffered from raids, from famine, and were eventually abandoned to ruin. But Heshui did not fall. The imperial records offer just one single cryptic line. The city could not be found. No siege, no fire, no rebellion, just absence. For centuries, historians and scholars assumed this was just a myth, an exaggeration, a poetic flourish in a dry government report. That is, until the sandstorms of the modern era began to uncover the truth. In the early 20th century, reports started trickling in. Explorers spoke of seeing stone where none should exist, pillars rising silently from the tops of dunes, long stretches of walls exposed after a violent windstorm, only to vanish again when the sands inevitably shifted back. Early expeditions dismissed these sightings as mere geological formations, tricks of the light. But the symmetry was all wrong. Nature is random, chaotic. It doesn't build in straight lines. It doesn't count. The real breakthrough came when archaeologists finally reached one of these sites and found carved markings at the base of the stones. These weren't decorations. They were sequential symbols, a kind of assembly logic. It became clear that the city had been systematically dismantled and then reassembled deeper and deeper into the desert, as if its builders were following an invisible map, a hidden path. In underground chambers, preserved by the dry air, they found the tools, simple stone levers, wooden rollers, the impressions of ropes fossilized in the dust. This was evidence of a massive communal effort, repeated over many years. The small handprints found on some tools suggested children had helped. The design of the mechanisms showed that elders had guided the work. This wasn't a desperate, panicked evacuation. It was a planned migration of an entire city's architecture. A spiral symbol was found everywhere, carved into the stones. It wasn't just decoration. It was an instruction. Local oral traditions, passed down through nomadic tribes for centuries, preserved its meaning. Follow the breathing of the land. The people of Heshui believed the desert wasn't dead, only dormant. They knew water still moved beneath it, like blood in veins. They knew the wind carved the paths before the sand even followed. They didn't fight the cycle. They moved with it. But the final chapter of their story is the most disturbing. At the far edge of the last relocated city, archaeologists found no signs of long-term habitation. There were no layers of trash, no cooking hearths, and most unnervingly, no graves. Instead, there was just a single passageway leading east, out of the stone complex and into the vast, open desert. And preserved in the dust of that passage, they found footprints. Adults, children, bare feet, all walking in one direction. They did not return. The people of Heshui, the Stone Sleepers, did not disappear in a disaster. They chose impermanence. They left their city perfectly intact, as if preserving it for someone else or for another time. The city sleeps there still, and when the wind shifts just right, the desert remembers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories hidden by time.